Hi, it's your coach, Joe Lucas. Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to November 14th. Getting very, very close to the holiday next week. Looking forward to a little downtime. I thought what we'd do today is continue our conversation. The last video or podcast I put out, we talked about, we talked a little bit about KPIs. We talked about morning success rituals. So I think for the next several sessions here, if you will, let's talk a little bit more about benchmarks. And I did the first benchmark in our Magellan Strategic Planning series. Let's do the second one today, which is let's talk about mindsets. Let's talk about your psychology, if you will, which for a lot of advisors is like the no-go place, right? And why is it no-go? Because it affects our ego, right? It affects on who we think we are. We like to blame other things, right? The economy, compliance, DOL, our firms, right? All these things. And yet, when I look at an advisor who's succeeding, now, I think for a mindset, let's talk about what success really means, okay? When I first started coaching, success was economic, right? Production. Hey, production went from X to Y. We did a good job. Here's reality. Going from X to Y is great as long as it is sustainable. It is not where you're not happy. Because what I found a lot of times is I can get somebody to double their income in 1 to 2 years, but they're still not any happier. So why is that? Well, because money doesn't buy you happiness, right? But a lot of times in this business, we just think about, your psychology, your internal dialogue for a second. How many times have you said this in your career? Man, if I can just get to X amount of dollars a year, if I can just get to X amount of production a month, right? Like if I can just get to here, everything's good, right? And then when you get there, you realize that my lifestyle kind of came up with it, right? Or my challenges grew, right? And we're not where we need to be. See, here's the thing, and I'm going to, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to give you my version of the absolute truth. You can do practice management all day long. You can do social media all day long. You can go buy marketing systems all day long. But if you're not right here, you'll sabotage. Period. And for a lot of you, that's the last thing you want to hear. But here's the good news. Because it's here, right, and for those of you audio, I'm just pointing to my head basically, you are 100% in charge of fixing it, of elevating it, of evolving it, right? Because who controls this? And if you don't say you, then whoa, we got some bigger challenges here, right? But let's work under the premise that you agree with my statement, right? That we're in control of our psychology. Now, I use a new term called myos. M-Y-O-S. Myos. Now, what does that mean? My operating system, like OS, right? If you're an Apple person, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So myos is a combination of your beliefs, your internal dialogue, your values, your rules, your self-image, and your definition of failure. Recipe, right? And most advisors, in fact, most human beings, right, have no concept of what those are for them. Zero. Live an entire life in an unconscious state. And in our industry, you could be unconscious and still make 6 figures. It's pretty damn good, right? But if you know you're not elevating where you need to be, I highly doubt it's because you need another system, or you need this, or you need that. You need to elevate you. And like I said, good news, you're 100% control of it. Here's the challenge. It requires you to be honest with yourself, look at the man or woman in the mirror, tell the truth, and be open to change. Be open to being uncomfortable, because change is not happening sitting in your lounge chair, right? You have to do the work. If you want to transform your body, you don't lay on the couch every day. You go get after it, right? If you want to change your mindset, you got to train your mind. You got to rehearse things, right? So when we talk about empowering mindsets, one of the benchmarks we talk about is, where are we? And this is not about being delusionally positive. It's about being honest. See things for what they are, right? So let me ask you some very basic myos questions. What do you believe about success? What do you believe about failure? What do you talk to yourself about continually? What are your habitual conversations? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see an imposter? Do you see a giver? Do you see somebody who's lucky? What do you see? How do you define failure to yourself? Is it the failure to accomplish the goals or not accomplishing goals? Or is it something more powerful than that? Right? Do you believe in abundance or scarcity? Do you believe that it's harder to be in this business or easier to be in this business? Do you believe that over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to be in a renaissance in this industry because of all the advisors retiring, all the baby boomers retiring, all the technology that's going to make our world and lives easier? Or do you go, oh man, I wish it was the 80s again. I wish we were trading stocks. I wish we didn't have ETFs. I wish we didn't have DOL. I wish we didn't have all this stuff, right? Do you believe that, and whether you're 25 or 75, do you believe your best years are still in front of you? Or are you playing the string out? See, your approach to how you answer these questions, just now, as I talked to you about those, your brain went, oh yeah, this is what I think, this is what I think, this is what I think. Your brain subconsciously gave you answers. Now, here's the interesting part. Those answers can be changed if they don't serve you. However, if you don't do the work, if you don't first take a look at what they are, what are you rolling with, right? Can't change what you don't know, right? So my point to you is this: get conscious. Ask yourself, hey, what do I believe about success? What do I believe over the next 5 years, right? What do I believe? Because here's the deal. If you think that it's going to be a sucky business for the next 5 or 10 years, or it's going to be scarcity, or it's going to be challenging, or it's going to be hard, what rational human being is going to say, let's go for it? Oh, it's perfect. Let's go for it. It doesn't happen. Now, what would happen if you believed that, hey, you know what? And I can say this right now, here we are mid-November, and I track this for my clients. We have had by far, from my entire client base, the best asset gathering year, not even close to a number 2. I mean, just blew the doors. I've had people bring in $25, $35, $40 million of assets this year. And we're not talking about K plans either. We're talking about individual clients. So what does that tell me? We're at the beginning of it. And over the next 5 to 10 years, there'll be a floodgate of assets available, right? But if you got your head up your butt and focused on Washington, D.C., the economy, the regulators, what goes on, you're going to miss it. And then what's going to happen, you're going to sit back in your rocking chair in your 80s or 90s or whenever that's going to be, and you're going to know you missed it. You know why? Because you're going to see it. And I want the story to be for you that, hey, I listened to this crazy coach on this video, back in 2017, and he brought up some great points, and I changed things. And it was great for me, great for my family, great for everything. But that's your choice. So mindset is the most important thing in this industry, period. I don't care about your designations. I don't care about what your office looks like. I don't care about how many systems you buy and never do. I mean, how many times have you bought something, how many times have you even bought a book and never read it? Right? How many times have you bought a marketing system and never did anything with it? How many times did you do a business plan and never follow through on it? Right? You don't have system issues. You got you issues. So I'm being here today with you real raw because I care. I want to help. Okay? So I want you to think about this. And over the next couple of videos, we're going to continue to go over these benchmarks, right? And I'm going to get you to, even though you may not be a client of mine, you may not be involved with our strategic planning system, I'm going to get you to think. And I'm going to expose you to truly what you need to focus on to make 2018 your best year ever. Have a great day.